All right, babes, it's Bimini, and we are back with a brand new episode of The Pieces. And this week, I am joined by Babymorocco. How's it going, babes?
It's going wonderful. How's it going with you?
It's good. A bit spiky today, but...
You are spiky. You're spiky and I'm studdy.
Exactly. There you go. And we were saying earlier before the cameras started rolling that I was like, you know, when you see something like this, you feel like, oh, I could stud that myself, but you told me about a droopy stud. So.
It's really, you've got to be really specific with your studying. It's like not an easy job and it's quite a glamorous job, so you've got to make it look really good, otherwise it does get soggy. And what did I say? Soggy and what?
Droopy.
Droopy,
yeah. We don't want a soggy, droopy stud.
No, it's always got to be tight. Yeah.
And you can take from that what you will.
Yes.
So we've actually known each other for a minute.
Yeah, we have. I was actually wondering if you were going to... Do you remember?
Of course, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah. I went to London School of Fashion for 2 weeks before I did scam my way into Central St. Martin's as well.
So I was at LCF.
I remember you.
And I did a year and bright blue hair or red hair at that time.
No, you had really red hair.
Did I?
Yeah. And you were like, it was like pushed up. Like you like not backcomb, but I want to say like really big ginger hair.
I think I was just hiding my hairline. Before I had it done, to be honest.
Because you had a little fringe, right?
yeah. Little big fringe. It was very like that kind of era.
Yeah.
But it was, that was so fun because I was at LCF and then you went to CSM.
Yeah. So I got in because basically I was like realizing that you could do more than just, I thought to do like photography, I didn't go to a school which was like, you can do fine art as a photographer. They were just like, you have to paint to do that. So then as soon as I got to LCF and I was finding out people were like on doing a fashion photography course, but then doing performance art on it, I was like, oh, you can do anything on any course. So then I searched up the tutor at CSM, searched up all his favorite artists and then made my portfolio the night before and then just got into CSM.
Nice.
Like that.
I love that though.
Yeah.
A similar thing for me was like I studied fashion journalism, but then I realised actually with the degree you can kind of do
anything.
And
then because it's all like conceptual, like
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I had a friend who was doing like video and graphic design, a friend who was doing like theatre, but then was like doing photography, and that's what you know, like at school and like probably where you came from as well. The schools they were teaching you just one thing. If you were doing art, it was painting.
Yeah.
If you were doing this, it was this, but then you find out it's crazy. I never did what's it called again? A foundation either.
No,
so
I didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. You just raw dog it.
Yeah,
and
basically.
Also you were like, you remember we went out Whiskey Mist?
Yeah. That's like, does that still happen?
No, but do you remember they used to give us hella drinks?
Yeah. Like Daniel Lismore.
Yeah.
We used to go
what
there
a time,
yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. Like I've found that time was like such a like a snapshot into what was going on at the time, because I think like that doesn't happen now. And I know like a lot of places do still do do they still do like girls getting for free and like
I think there is. I mean, like maybe not the nights we would ever go to, but like in West, I mean it's still pretty much the same. But the night we used to go to was called Misky Whist. It was like the Wednesday where they would get us those huge, the big drinks and everything like that. And then I remember I would wear like my dungarees with like weed frame glasses going in and stuff, and they would just let us in for free because we'd make like the older people go crazy. Yeah,
and it was like on a specific night, and I guess that was the night they're like, get all the weirdos to come in.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it was a good time.
It was fun. It was good. Yeah, that was like a crazy time. But then I remember like you started kind of where you started getting into performance art, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I remember like your first project.
Yeah.
Do you ever talk about that?
I do sometimes.
Do you sometimes?
Yeah. We can talk about it a bit.
Okay,
we can broach it.
We can broach it. But I remember that being like so massive, and I remember being a bit in awe of you, to be honest, when that happened, because I thought it was such a incredible, like it was everywhere.
That's why I think even now it's probably the most famous I ever was for like a week. But it was really, it was like again harnessing on the kind of like times before, like it was still, social media was just coming about, and I was so young, and it was like, I remember when I actually was 18 when I conceptualized it. And then when it came out, I was 19. But again, I did my own thing. The whole point was the kind of idea of virginity, I guess, the concept of virginity. Nothing ever actually happened as well. I just sold my story to the press. I called them up. There was this agency called SWNS, and I just said, this is what's happening. And I just wanted to see the documentation was the artwork almost. If that makes sense.
Well, it does. And I guess you were like playing them at their own game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in a way that like people wouldn't have realised at the time, because again, it's something that feels or sounds shocking to people. And I guess nowadays you'd call it like rage bait. People would think it's like a rage bait way.
I was the first rage bait.
Exactly.
Well, they called me, I loved what they used to call me. They called me an inertia artist, which means like no effort. Someone called me a teenage narcissist, which was my Tumblr for ages after I did it.
I mean, that's a great, they gave like a great title.
I was getting lots of like cool, people were really like, I mean, fair enough that people hated it. Did you see that woman who turned up at CSM? That Christian woman, that missionary?
Yeah.
And she was like, release Clayton, like get him out of here. The video is still on YouTube. I need to like sample sample that for a song.
Yeah, totally you should.
Maybe at one point I will.
think that's it just shows again like how much sex and the idea of sex is still so, like I always think about it now, like 2025, we are going backwards in a way, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think it was less. I think if I did that kind of piece then, that piece now, it would be insane. Like it would be like, it would actually more, it was kind of like, how far can you push something? And people will get angry, but they're nothing's really shocking anymore. That Grayson Perry artist person came after me and said that art doesn't shock. Like his art isn't shocking, nothing shocks anymore. But now it's like gone back to that.
Yeah.
But like we're getting back because it's a little bit Puritan, like Oliver Cromwell swag kind of time.
It's a weird time, I think, like politically, socially, with sex and just the idea of like, I mean, conversations we've had that you thought like we've gone past that now. It feels like everyone's like going backwards. I mean, there's obviously like Bonnie Blue who's like pissing people off.
Yeah,
I kind of live for that though. I'm like, if people are not sparking controversy or like opinion or conversation, then it's like...
Yeah, Bonnie Blue's such an interesting character. I don't know much about her own personal swag, but people really like her hair. Like it's always a really good blowout. They asked her for a hair tutorial on TikTok.
I think she's going to turn around and say it was all fake.
Do you think?
I don't know. Like the 1,000 in a day, maybe. I don't know.
I actually went to a house party. Not a house party, but there's this girl called Rosie Marks who's a really good artist. She did her photo book, like release in the house that Bonnie Blue had loads of sex in. Or maybe that one with the 10,000, 1,000 or 10,000. It was that same house. And it felt very like... I kind of felt like quite honoured. Like it's like historical.
Yeah, I mean, it's a landmark.
I mean? Do you think? I think that would actually be really cool if she got a blue circle, like Bonnie Blue, on that house.
Oh yeah, or at least like a Hollywood Walk of Fame outside the front.
I think it needs to be more British.
Yeah,
like a little blue circle would be good. And Hollywood, she's so British as well.
She is. But I like, it would be jokes if she just turns around and be like, "That was all fake. Thanks for the 1.5 million a month I made."
Yeah, but you know that you kind of see it online. I don't think it.
Well, I don't know do you see the 1,000? I mean,
no,
that would be like a long watch.
I wasn't counting.
I'd be like, fast forward. I'm like, how many's it now?
I also didn't watch it. That makes me feel like I watch it. I just, you be on Twitter and sometimes
got stuff on there,
there's reposts and, not now because they banned that. You can't, you have to show your face now.
Really?
Yeah, you have like Twitter.
I didn't know that.
You have to show a selfie.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the consent and like age stuff and all of that. It's a wild time I think we're in.
Yeah.
So going into Babymorocco.
Yes.
How did the whole journey come about for Babymorocco? Because I feel like obviously you have always been in performance in a way. So how did the transition to music come? Was it lockdown, right?
Yeah, I think so. I was always after like kind of that era of doing loads of performance art. I kind of went into my Tumblr bag. Like I was always on Tumblr, but then I was like, let me like brand myself Babymorocco. So the name came from a Tumblr username. And then I was like, I always wanted to do music. And I was obviously, I'm going to like give it to the forefathers of the kind of inspiration that I had. Obviously A.G. Cook and PC Music came about. And I was like, wow, like this is how you can do it. You know what I'm saying? But it took me ages to like, people want to even work with me, obviously, because I was just an Instagram boy. So I was like, which also can just, you can be an Instagram kid and then you want to make music and release one single and then who gives a fuck, you know what I'm saying? But then I think when it really started was like 2023, but like I was kind of downloading beats on YouTube and being like, yo, I'm Babymorocco, I'm making music, like hello auto-tune. Then when it came about was wait, let me brand myself, let me get even crazy, let me be like a big muscly boy who making like crazy kind of like Australian like Muslim music, like Let's Go Zanti. That's when it really went crazy. I think again like an aspect, as soon as I started performing again, then it did well. You're
part Moroccan, right?
Yes, half Moroccan.
Half Moroccan. So is that where how come you chose the Moroccan part for the name? Because I think the name's really sick.
Yeah, I think because I always say this, baby boy is like the like British side, and then like Morocco is obviously just Moroccan side. So Babymorocco is just like me, and it's like, a rhubarb and custard sweet. Like it's like that.
Okay, I like that analogy.
It's like baby rhubarb custard Morocco.
Got it.
Do you know
it makes
saying?
sense. I think it makes sense.
Yeah. How you come up with Bimini?
Bimini was what my mum was going to call me if I had different genitals.
Okay.
Basically.
Bimini is also such a specific, crazy name. I love it.
Yeah.
It's Bimini.
Bimini, and I'm like, it's Madonna, like, one word now, because I was like Bon Boulash, which was also my mum's cat, Bonnie Boulash, all from my mum, basically.
That's really cute.
But yeah, Bonnie Boulash, I grew up with a cat called Bonnie Boulash, so there wasn't much like hope for me anyway.
Yeah.
like if I had a white Persian called Bonnie Boulash, and then my mum gave me a box set of Ab Fab, like it was just game over.
I love Ab Fab.
Same.
I actually like a lot of the swag, what they wear in it a lot.
The style was like so good. I feel like the style, and also just Joanna Lumley, and anything else is just Patsy to me.
Yeah, me too. Do you know what? I've been watching America's Next Top Model recently again, and you know what's the one with the blonde hair? With like bleached blonde hair, Miss J, or is Miss J the other one? One of them's called J and the one's called Miss J.
I can't remember who.
Be wearing like the most that swaggy archive, like Jean-Paul Gaultier, like all of that stuff, and I'm trying to base my image off of him as. I mean,
Jean-Paul Gaultier, early like noughties, 90s, 90s, just such good references.
I'm a queen.
It's like sexy and it's cool, and it's just like, it feels like it was like pissing people off at the time, which is like great. America's Next Top Model though, like if you look at like how they spoke to the models and like what they were doing, and like making them shave their heads sometimes. I'm like
that girl Molly they put that weave in her hair, and it was like 50 inches, and it was like this poor white girl, and it was like tearing her hair out. I rate that show though. I rate it a lot.
That is, I mean, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
To say the least. I feel like, I mean, I do love like reality TV.
Yeah, I mean, you was on it.
I was on it, and I'm on it right now because of SAS. I basically did like a.
What's SAS?
It's like a SAS Who Dares Wins. So they put you through like really intense training.
Was it fun?
It was really fun, actually. I really enjoyed it because I feel like I'm too stubborn to not push myself, and I'm like, I have to prove it. But it was like it was a challenge to do. But that was. I wouldn't say reality. It is reality TV because
it's more like.
But they're not like trying to get you out, or like they're not like trying to like. Oh, that person said this about you. It's not like a bitchy side. It's more just like putting you through your paces, basically.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So you said like music became like during lockdown is when you started getting into it.
Yeah.
And then like 2023 was
when it like actually was. But that's when I really started. That's when I decided to myself. I was like, I'm just focusing on music now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was like, then it went crazy, or like it went. It went crazy into like an internet way, you know what I'm saying? But I think, and then I went on tour with Jockstrap, and then that's kind of like solidified me as an actual, I think, musician, because they're like very respected. I think before I was just seen as Instagram, which was hard to get out of.
How was coming up with your sound?
Oh, I knew exactly. I listened to Calvin Harris's first album. I was like, I want to be that at the beginning. That Summer song, and a lot of Rihanna's like collaborations with Calvin Harris. All I want to do is work with Calvin Harris. That's like my goal. But no, that was it. I was just listening to a lot of like summer tracks, party tracks, like how I came up with one of my big songs, or like songs that's like a fan favorite. Let's Go Zanti was like, I was listening to like Lonyo, and then I was listening to like obviously what are they called again? Venga Boys got that song about Ibiza.
Love.
They've got an Iron Appa song. Lonyo's I think is Iron Appa, Ibiza, and there's like I needed one for Zanti, and I've never been. So,
have you not?
No.
You need to go now.
I was just searching up references about Zanti, like Lagana's, like the Lagana strip. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put that in.
It's like a tongue-in-cheekness, I think. Like there's a almost like playing satire in a way. Like I feel like Venga Boys especially, like that like cheesy.
Yeah, we having a good time. I think at the beginning it was like that. I think I'm always fighting at the moment how to be more sincere and also get people to take me seriously. But I do think there's songs which are like that will always be like standouts, which are like what you just said. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think I wrote that here actually about sincerity.
Yeah,
meets satire in a way. Like
because the thing is like I'm trying to actually be like honest. I do turn up. So I'm not saying it in like I'm like a British boy who likes to turn up.
But it's totally.
Yeah. But I don't like it when Americans do it.
Yeah.
When Americans try and do like a British banger, it just sounds shite.
It doesn't. I mean, the British, we know how to A, party, and B, make good music that represents that.
That's what I'm
Do you know who was like, I was just did a podcast before this. I was like on someone's podcast and they brought up Tiny Temper. Yeah, and I was like, Temper. Pass out. That was a banger.
Yeah, Tiny Temper was so good. Tiny Temper and Wiley and Dizzy Rascal as well. They were all really like great in their time as well. I used to love that, what's it song? Bonkers.
Oh yeah, it was so good.
That's such a good song.
Like Dizzy Rascal definitely had some really good ones.
Did you have Bieber?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that was my song on Bieber.
Was it?
Yeah.
When you had the top 16. Yeah, that was ruthless, really.
Yeah, it was really crazy. And you would move your friend, not to the lowest of the actual friends pile. You move a friend that you had beef with to the lowest of the top 16.
That
so they
was
could
bad.
see it. And I was always like, because I was seeing Kid then, I would always be like, with all my like scene friends. I was called like Clayton Cookie Crumble, and my girlfriend on there at the time was called Sammy Sweetheart.
Nice.
And we were like in each other's other half. Do you remember? You
yeah,
could do that.
yeah. I was like T-Lush Prince.
That's good.
Which is so like T-Lush.
That's fab. My friend had one called Beth Barbie Screw Up, which I didn't really understand. My brother was Tammy Trashface.
It's so we all had those like names, didn't we?
I thought it was kind of swaggy.
It is though. It is jokes if you think about it now.
Yeah.
Like Sweet Honey 69 or something.
My friend had one called like Red Hot Babe, and she's like 13.
And then the people that still use their emails like that.
Yeah. No, that's what. And it'd always be like a Hotmail. Do you remember Hotmail?
Yeah, exactly. Would you say like when you're writing, like, do you get into, maybe it changes, I know it does for me with certain things and making music, but like, do you do it from like a character's point of view, or do you write it from your experience?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're like, for the sound, which was my first, I wrote it as almost like this character of like Big Rocco, like super like straight coded vibe, like I'm going out tonight, we're gonna get drinks, you know what I mean, we're going to Zante, we're going on holiday. And then Amor was like from this like bisexual boy called Jean Paul, and he's like a dancer in the streets of Paris. But that was like going in and out of Babymorocco and Jean Paul. And then the deluxe was just like the Jean Paul kind of concept. Jean Paul is like when I do the French accent or just speak in French. Yeah.
I love that though, you bringing that into it. I feel like the like, where was I? I was just in Montreal recently, and everyone speaks French there. Yeah. And like you'd hear a lot of things on the radio that was like French speaking, and everyone's like singing it. And I was like, I wish I understood it.
Yeah, me too. I need to get into actually speaking French. I feel like, no, I mean, I should. I'm Moroccan. I should be able to speak French, but I kind of would just like, when I was writing, I would ask some French friends, like, how does this sound okay? Yeah. A lot of people say that the French accent I do when I'm speaking English sounds like German, so I don't know how, like when I don't know if you've heard my song Jean Paul, but it's like, I think someone said I sounded German, so I'm not sure how good my French accent is. But
I guess, well, you got deep, like, sexy tone.
Yeah, I do love Jean Paul though, but he's not gonna be alive anymore for so long. He's done with this Amor record. Do you know what I'm saying? I kind of made Jean Paul almost to like survive like as a character with my old label, because you know they tried to not get me to be Jean Paul. They were like, we don't want you to release anything as like this character. They thought it was a joke, and I was like, no, it's just a segment of me.
Like an ego, like an alter ego.
I think it's great. I think I like that. I'm like, you know, there's so many things that I think in music is so like, I wish there was sometimes more worlds within people's music, and I think that's what I've always tried to do. No matter if there's like 2 people listening or like 50,000, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it's important to come up with concepts, especially with the art music I make. I think
that's totally valid to keep going with that. Like you see some artists that like have different multiple alter egos, and as you hear their music you kind of know who that is, and like their different references or like what they're trying to get across. And I think like that's authentic to you, because we all have so many different experiences, and I feel like to just have it from one lens or point of view all the time.
And Babymorocco himself is a character. So like even when I release something as Babymorocco, to me that's still a character. I'm very inspired by what's her name? Nicki Minaj's Roman. Yeah. Roman with the British accent. That's what I kind of was so. I loved that. I was like, Roman also is such a good name for a character.
It is good.
But
yeah, she like kind of really went into that. Yeah. But then she stepped away from it a bit more, because I feel like people were like,
they didn't fuck with it.
Too much. And I'm like, some of my favourite Nicki Minaj tracks are like Roman in Moscow and Roman's Revenge.
That's such a good name as well. Roman in Moscow is such a good title for a song. Yeah.
And she's just going nuts on it. And it's just like, I live for that shit.
Yeah, me too.
With your work, I think there's like, you lean into like a queer desire, or like maybe hypersexual or sexual. Was that like intentional? Do you think like there's like a level of like putting your fingers up?
I think I actually, you know what, I want to give you like a good answer to that, but I actually don't know if that, for me, basically what I'm trying to say, I wish they didn't set it up for me sometimes where that's all I think I relate my image to. I think I'm trying to do both a bit, but like I do think I've put myself in a bit of a prison of like, if I have to do something, it has to have like a aspect of sexuality, otherwise people won't be interested. That's what I have in my head. So I it's kind of at the beginning almost it was like, I like this because I'm sexy, I want to do something sexy. Do you know what I'm saying? But then it's now become a bit of a prison, like just being like, oh, I need to do this, so people are going to get into this. Do you know what I'm saying?
I totally get what you said, and I think like there's a we've taught sex sells, and it does. I mean, we do know that, and we love it. But I think like playing into like, because I think from my point of view, looking at like what you do and your work, you're playing into like maybe like there's a sexuality to your image, but it's not a bad thing, because I feel like queer desire and queer sexuality hasn't always been very liberated, in the sense of maybe the community feels liberated, but society doesn't always welcome it. And so like for somebody to own that, I think is empowering.
I think as well, I was discussing with my friends that like that what you kind of just said exactly. I think it's interesting with, and this is like with a, you know, like a just a straight pop star who's a girl, she can get often in like a little bra and like panty and dance around the stage. But then when I would like do the same thing, it's like, and actually not just me, like when any actually, even like I've seen it with Troye Sivan, and like they're only getting it, like they're only paying him attention because he's like in a tiny boxes or kissing a guy. But I'm like, but the girls are doing that as well. I'm not saying that like girls don't come with their own things as well. Like they get shot on like crazy, you know what I'm saying? But like I do think I've noticed that is a repeated pattern. I'm like, what is the problem? Like everyone who does music, most people do music wearing a little itty bitty thing.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? It's like performance also has so much to do with sexuality.
Yeah.
Whether it be anyone, like performing in front of people is kind of ties into this weird like I need you all to like be obsessed with me or look at me, so which always I think does tie into sexuality.
And even the people that maybe necessarily don't, so like I'm talking like early like Billie Eilish when she was coming up, like it was still about sexuality, like that was what people would talk about. It's like she wasn't outwardly like showing her body or doing anything, but then that was what people would talk about.
So
it's either like you're either too sexy or not sexy enough in a way.
Exactly.
So there's like no win.
And I think people will always, whether you're naked, whether you're like clothed, people will always, like you just said, they'll say some crazy shit. They'll want you sexually or not sexually. It's just there's always going to be a conversation about that. So I don't think it's bad to own in on that, really. But I also think at the same time that I would like to like own in on that less as being my only thing. But then it's hard because I got songs like really hot, and I actually do enjoy performing. I think I don't have very much good personal style, so it's like my body is like my outfit. Do you know what I mean? So taking my clothes off is sometimes the swag that I want people to see. And also, I work for this shit too. Do you know what I'm saying?
This is it. Well, fuck it. Like if you don't keep a Ferrari in the garage.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. So like sometimes it's just like there's so many other people you can turn to who dress so well, but I need to just be in my shirtless sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's also, you know, like it gets hot on stage.
It does under the lights. People don't understand.
Yeah. Really, they don't.
Like, what's the most like outrageous thing someone said to you, like a fan or someone
like as in like mean, or like as in sexually?
Like just like outrageous, like
I mean,
do you get a lot of like DMs?
Yes. This is not even just an ego I get really crazy ones I actually have 2 Instagram accounts, but Babymorocco and Jean Paul. I think I get more crazy ones at the moment on Jean Paul because it's like less following, so there's more like people think that I'm gonna check them more. So there's this one the other day who was like, my sugar mama wants to fly you out to fuck us both at the same time, and I was like, that was one. I was like,
did you do it?
No. But also I don't know what that means. I don't know what that entails, because also why is she, I don't get it. But yeah, that one.
I need the sugar mama to message me as well.
Yeah, I think it was just, you know what I mean? I think it was just him. I get a lot of like, honestly, that when I don't check them regularly, but when I do check them, it will be some crazy shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Or some like advanced story. Like, you know what I mean?
Does it happen mostly like through DMs, or do you ever get like someone in a nightclub or like somewhere you're performing?
Well, I don't really go out anymore. I mean, I do, but I go, if I'm out, usually it's at my show, like one of my shows, which I'm performing in, or it's like one of my friends, I'll go. But there's been like weird stuff. I mean, at my own shows, I think I've said this before in interviews, obviously one of my fans, I got like stabbed in my hand here at the end. It was like, now join on, made my lifeline longer though. And then in Australia, someone tried to steal my passport and my phone out my pocket, a fan, and he was also kind of like like touching and stuff like that. So it's like with the shows I put on, I do like people going insane. Like I do like craziness, and getting really hot. So I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm just saying, don't take my phone and don't stab me. Or
your passport.
Or my passport. Yeah, please don't take my passport. Like why put that stress on me?
Yeah, that's not what you want. Unless you're gonna give me like a green card for that country.
Yeah, and then, like, you know they won't. So.
No, exactly. How do you feel like nightlife? Well, you said you don't go out as much now. Is there a reason for that?
I just like not lining up. I like getting in for free, and I like the green room has drinks in it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't not lining up. It's not that like there's nothing wrong with lining up, but you do it like I did it when I was 16 from like 21. I'm like good on that. You know what I mean? But also it's just I want to get in. I don't like lining up for drinks at the bar either. You know what I'm saying? I actually haven't liked clubbing for a long time, unless it's like invite and there's like free drinks and stuff. Because I spend like when you're drunk, you just keep buying drinks and stuff. Yeah, that's so
you lose that like sense of reality.
Yeah, but I do be going to a lot of the things though, because my girl Keita, who's on my label Fat Boy, she does a lot of those shows like where they're kind of clubs and like club nights where she'll be performing. So I'll go to that, and that's always really fun. And I mean, it has changed a lot. I mean, there's a lot less clubs, and a lot now. I will say the main thing in London is that it's nights, not clubs you go to. It's like a night in it. That's what the main difference is, I think. You know what I mean? But this whole shit on London of everyone on TikTok being like, oh, London's shit to go out. It's not true. I don't think it's true. You just need to know where to go.
You need to know where to go, the nights to go. I think like raves are a lot more happening again. Like Fountain Road is, I mean, I'm just naming a place, but like Fountain Road in North London, which I used to live there 10 years ago.
Too.
Yeah, like it's now popping.
I haven't gone to anything in Fountain Road in a long time. Living there scarred me.
Yeah, totally.
Did your ceiling collapse? My ceiling collapsed like 2 to 3 times.
It didn't collapse, but it was when it would rain outside, it rained inside.
So exactly, that's what happens with the rain. Always when it would rain, the rain would come through the lamp and then it would collapse the ceiling. It collapsed on my friend one time. It was just staying in my room.
That's so bad.
It was so bad.
So I think we spoke about this. I was speaking about influences and inspirations. Yeah. But is there like we did speak about this, music or fashion eras that inspire you the most?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, someone actually asked me about referencing like a specific time. I obviously love like the 2000s for British pop music, and Xenomania is a really big, like, Miranda Cooper, and I think it was Brian Higgins, maybe I'm wrong, but like I actually wrote with her on a more, so she wrote a load of the Girls Aloud tracks.
Amazing.
A lot of their production is really inspiring. Obviously that specifically 2000 to like 2012 is a big time for me in
What's
UK music.
What's your favourite Girls Aloud song?
On the Metro.
Okay.
And they actually had this song it was on the Freaky Friday soundtrack called Freak Me Out. Like, ooh, you freak me out. It's like that when they tried to be American.
Yeah.
That one's really good. Yeah, like Girls Aloud were a big thing for me.
No Good Advice, I think.
No Good Advice is so... Wake Me Up is also so...
Yeah.
Like, it's actually like dirty pop music.
They had a lot of that though, I think, in a lot of their production, which I thought was like, it's actually thinking about it, because I went to see them recently.
Did you? Was it good?
And I was just like, they have got banger after banger. Like, it was just hit after hit. And I was like,
Rachel Stevens as well.
Yeah,
do you remember
love
her?
Rachel.
Sweet Dreams by LAX.
Yeah.
But I like Florrie. Do you remember Florrie?
Yeah.
Annie. I loved Annie. Like a lot of like, I do think that British pop music was so good, and I think it has come back a bit. Like, I really love Pink Pantheress' music. Obviously, Charlie like doing it for the UK. I want it to start like getting really charty though. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be really crazy. I've been listening to that song. Do you remember My Love by Route 94? My Love.
Oh yeah.
That is a fucking banger. 2014 actually was the last year for me where British music kind of like,
and then it all started to go downhill
a little bit, but not. I'm not trying to be rude. Just not my vibe
Brexit
anymore.
Brexit happened.
Yeah.
So
was that 2014?
2016. So I think like just 2015, it was like leading up to that, and I think like it represents, I think, what's happening musically with what's going on politically, and I think like because there was a lot of shit happening, music did also go to that.
But that's why maybe it will get good again.
I hope so. I mean, like, I feel like there's definite people doing a thing, including you, and I think like we need that. We need those voices.
I just want it to sound like British again.
Yeah,
that's what I like. I like when pop music sounds, but that's why I really love Pink Pantheress. Though, to me, her music is so British.
It is so British, but then she kind of blew up in the States, didn't she?
But that's cool though, because then I think it can. That's what makes it, I think, that more people can be doing that in the UK. When something blows up like everywhere, it shows that it can work. Whereas it used to be, if you were in the UK, you did not blow up in America at all.
Yeah, it was hard.
Which is actually, TikTok has helped that, I feel.
I think so, yeah. TikTok. How do you feel? How do you navigate your social media? How do you feel like? I feel like you've been someone that's always been good on social media, though.
Yeah, I do like social media. I find it like, again, like one of the things that I said earlier, a little bit of a trap, and like how to like feel good if something is doing well. TikTok, I love, but TikTok for me is more just like, I want to have fun on it. Mm-hmm. I do think there is something like with TikTok artists, I will say there's some artists who are just TikTok. They blow up massive and they have one massive song, and then the rest of their stuff doesn't do well, and they don't harness like an organic audience. I do think sometimes, even if it's a slower growth, like I do really feel like very in tune with my audience. Do you know what I mean? And people who love me really love me, and people who hate me fucking hate me, and that's how it feels good. It feels like I'm cultivating it. While TikTok, I get a bit scared of like weird. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird to like just be on that.
It is, and I think like you want to be able to get bums in seats or like people at your show.
Someone said as well, like TikTok, you can't really do that. You know, if it just is happening on TikTok. But obviously, if you're doing really well everywhere else, usually it will also be doing well on TikTok. But yeah, it's not my main focus. It's not like my prize. You know what I mean?
I think consistency as well is like the key is too, right?
Yeah, I think as well it's just making like good shit. You know what I mean? And like creating and like making that the actual precipice of everything you do, and then people will catch on whenever. You know, you just like you said, you just got to keep.
And like with streaming too, like DSPs have so much power. I feel like they like playlisting and all of that stuff. It can be like such a mind fuck.
Weirdly, I don't really think about that kind of stuff. For me, the main things I notice is like when someone will just randomly be like to me or like comment and like say a bit of lore about they remember about like Jean Paul or like that. Really, anything else that comes after that, like I just love to see the things that affect me is like in real life, like you said, getting loads of people at the shows, singing my lyrics. That's all I focus on. But I think the other big thing though to me is if it always can like look good or be like a certain era. I always want things to feel like a development of a story. Totally. But yeah, playlisting and stuff can just happen, you know?
Yeah.
It can happen to like whenever. Or
you shouldn't get too caught up on that.
Because things can just happen whenever, you know, like, but at least if you blow up in like 5 years, like kind of like how Chapel Rowan, she was going for time, like at least then she has this huge story behind her. It's like they can go back and see this big, you know, she's cultivated this image and this audience, which I really love. Kind
of happened with the galleys that were like the pop galleys that were like killing it last year. Yeah, like Charlie has been around for a minute. Like people don't really know or like realize how many songs of hers that they know.
I think she's really built a really like beautiful world in terms of like, again, with the projects being so different each time. It's quite like, even like with Doja Cat, she was going for a little bit of time as well. But that's what I mean. Like then she released that and then it went crazy. So it's like, for me, it's cool just to like know that whatever happens, I know it's going to happen, but it's just, you know, when it happens, I'll see all these characters that I built, the Jean Paul stuff and like that. So it'll be like a retrospective.
You want, you people to know the history as well. Like I feel like it's a beautiful world I think you've created, and I think like we'll continue to do so. But where you're at now, like what would you say your project, or like is there a song or a project that you're most proud of?
Of like what I've released?
That you've released.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really love my song "Give Me Love." I think to me, that is one of the best songs. It's exactly one of the songs because I don't produce myself very often. So it's like when I was with Frost Children, like "Give Me Love" to me was exactly how I wanted the song to sound. It started off with Dear Cupid, this other producer, but then we added like us doing the kids' voices because I really wanted almost to sound like a kids, like not choir, but like vocal group on the track. And I just listened. I love performing that as well. It's my first song usually after the Club Amore intro with, you know, the girls like speaking. Then I go into Give Me Love, and it's like one of the best things ever. I
remember like listening to you for the first time like a couple of years ago, I think, and I've having known you and then hearing, and I was like, okay, you know, like Wendy Williams when she's doing that meme. I was like, okay, like I don't know what I expected, but I was like, this is sick.
I think that's what I'm saying though about like the classic thing of like Instagram boy making music now. So it was like that. I do think I had quite a lot to prove as well. Like people weren't just going to instantly be into me, because also I think there's nothing worse sometimes than seeing someone, like people get really annoyed at it. Like, why the fuck does he think he can do music? Especially like, you know, you got like beef with other like people. They think that like, why, if he can do it, why people aren't listening to me? That's what I got a lot of at the beginning. Yeah. No one booked me in London for like, I got booked in America before I got booked in London.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of like the music people in London did not fuck with me. Like they just did not want it.
People are so weird, aren't they? I think like people just love a box.
They do. And there was one specific box in London. They were all obsessed with themselves and they didn't want anyone else to win. Yeah. And then I came about. Yeah. And I won a little bit. I haven't won completely yet. Yeah, not that it's a competition.
Winning. You stay winning.
Yeah.
How do you see Babymorocco evolving?
Hopefully, I don't even know how to say it. Just getting bigger and bigger, making crazier music, making like, you know, going to beautiful sessions and having beautiful times with beautiful collaborations. I would love, you know, to do a song with Calvin Harris.
I was about to say, anyone that you'd love to collaborate with?
I don't really know. Like, I like the classics, yeah, like Calvin Harris. But as in like other people right now, I mean, I'd love to do I love Pink Panthers' music. I would love to do a song actually with my friend called the Dare Harrison, and I think we are going to have something at some point, but like that would be like a great thing to come out, I think. But otherwise than that, I think it's just about, again, you know, when it happens organically, you know, when I feel like with music, when you meet someone, you're like, oh, this would sound really fucking good together. I hate sometimes when someone like, not hate, but like sometimes when someone email being like, oh, we want maybe him on this track, and it doesn't sound like you built it together. I don't really like that kind of stuff.
Do you prefer to go in the studio with them?
Especially with a collab.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless say like you met that person and you know your vibe is right, then you can kind of do a back and forth online thing, like send me the stems and we do that. But other than that, I think a collab has to be, and that's how me and the Frost Georgian, who I collaborate with a lot. That's how we started. Like we met for the first time in a session, and it was just very beautiful. And we got a song together coming out on their new album as well.
Oh, sick!
Yeah, called Ralph Lauren.
And you're back in the studio now, or you're going back?
Yes, I am. I'm in and out and trying to find. I was discussing this earlier. I'm really trying to like figure out where I'm at in terms of sound, which is a whole process for me because it's got to be right. Yeah. And once I've decided on it, that's what I'm doing. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm going to be a French boy for this album, I'm going to be a French boy. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be Babymorocco, if I'm going to be like, I had this other idea for a character called Noah, who's like a bit more spiritual. I'm going to be Noah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
People that listen to your music, what's one thing that you hope that they take away from it?
I want it to be like, you know, in that Justice song, do the D-A-N-C. I like that. Like that happy joyfulness, like a kid, like just getting like crazy, but like in a beautiful way, which like when you take MD, you're tingling all over your body, like happy, positive skittles.
I love that. Babymorocco, thank you so much for joining me on The Pieces.
Thank you so much.